You are all welcome to today's deep news analysis. This is not noise. This is not gossip. This is serious. If you care about Nigeria, if you care about justice, if you care about how Africa sees us, then stay with me. Before we go deep, make sure you subscribe, turn on notifications, and join this growing community where we break down Nigerian politics in a calm, sharp, and honest way. Now let's begin. A major development just shook the political space. This is not routine diplomatic talk. This is not social media noise. This is a serious call coming from outside Nigeria, and it is directed at the heart of one of the most sensitive legal cases in the country today. The President of South Africa, Cyril Ramaphosa, has publicly called on the African Union to ensure strong monitoring and close supervision of Nnamdi Kanu's appeal at the Court of Appeal in Nigeria. That statement alone carries weight. When a sitting African president urges the African Union to monitor a judicial appeal in another African country, it sends a clear message. It means the issue has moved beyond national borders. It means the matter is now continental. It means Africa is watching Nigeria very closely. Ramaphosa did not speak in anger. He did not attack Nigeria. But his message was firm and direct. He said the appeal process must be fair. It must be transparent. It must be fully guided by the rule of law. Those words were not chosen by accident. Fair, transparent, rule of law. These are the pillars of any strong democracy. And when they are mentioned in this kind of context, it shows there are serious concerns about perception and process. But Ramaphosa went further. He directly called on President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to ensure that Nnamdi Kanu's rights are respected throughout the appeal process. He urged him to make sure the right thing is done. He encouraged him to use this moment to correct what many people see as wrong, especially regarding how Nigeria's judicial system is being viewed across Africa and globally. This is where the issue becomes even more sensitive. On the 20th of November, Nnamdi Kanu was sentenced to life imprisonment by Justice James Omotosho. That judgment marked a major turning point in a long and controversial legal battle. Following the sentencing, Kanu was moved to Sokoto prison. The life sentence immediately triggered reactions across different parts of Nigeria and beyond. Supporters described it as harsh. Critics defended it as a lawful outcome. Legal experts debated the strength of the charges and the fairness of the proceedings. Political observers warned that the case had implications far beyond one individual. Now the matter is heading to the Court of Appeal. And that is the stage Ramaphosa is focusing on. By calling for African Union monitoring, he is pushing for international attention on how the appeal will be handled. This is not interference in a loud way. It is diplomatic pressure. It is a signal that the outcome and the process will be closely observed. Nigeria is not a small country on the continent. Nigeria is one of the most influential members of the African Union. Nigeria has often positioned itself as a defender of democracy and rule of law in Africa. Nigerian leaders have spoken strongly about governance standards in other countries. So when concerns rise about Nigeria's own judicial processes, it becomes a continental issue. Ramaphosa's call reflects a deeper concern about perception. Across Africa and globally, the way high-profile political and security cases are handled shapes opinions about a country's justice system. Investors pay attention. Foreign governments pay attention. Human rights bodies pay attention. The appeal of Nnamdi Kanu is no longer just a legal procedure. It is now a test of confidence. Ramaphosa's message suggests that this appeal offers Nigeria an opportunity to show strength in its institutions, an opportunity to demonstrate independence in its judiciary, an opportunity to rebuild trust where doubts may exist. By asking President Tinubu to ensure that Kanu's rights are respected, Ramaphosa is placing responsibility at the highest level of leadership. The implication is clear: leadership matters in moments like this. Tone matters. Conduct matters. Transparency matters. The sentencing by Justice James Omotosho has already set a serious tone. Life imprisonment is the most severe punishment available under the law. That decision cannot be reversed by public opinion. It can only be reviewed through the legal process of appeal. And now, that appeal process is under continental attention. The coming weeks and months will determine not just the legal fate of Nnamdi Kanu, but also how Nigeria's justice system is judged across Africa. The focus is no longer only on the verdict. The focus is on the fairness of the process, the credibility of the court, the respect for rights, the strength of the rule of law. A major development just shook the political space, and its impact is still unfolding. The situation now goes beyond politics and enters a deeper space that affects Nigeria's image, credibility, and influence across Africa. What is happening is not just about a court case. It is about how Nigeria is seen when it comes to justice, fairness, and respect for the rule of law. When a leader like Cyril Ramaphosa speaks in this manner, it reflects a level of concern that cannot be ignored. His message was calm, but it carried clear meaning. By calling on the African Union to ensure strong monitoring of the appeal, he is pointing to the need for trust in the process. Monitoring in this context is not about control. It is about observation. It is about making sure that every step taken during the appeal is seen as credible, lawful, and fair. This matters because perception plays a powerful role in international relations. Across Africa, Nigeria is often seen as a leading voice. It has one of the largest economies on the continent. It has a strong population. It has influence in regional decisions. Because of this position, expectations are always high. When issues arise around the judicial system, especially in high-profile cases, those expectations become even higher. The case involving Nnamdi Kanu has drawn attention for years. It has created strong opinions from different sides. Some people see him as a political figure whose rights must be protected at all costs. Others see him as someone who must face the full weight of the law. This divide is part of what makes the situation sensitive. Now that the case has reached the appeal stage, the focus is shifting from arguments to process. People are no longer only debating guilt or innocence. They are watching how the legal system handles the next step. Ramaphosa's statement highlights something important. He emphasized that the process must be fair, transparent, and guided by the rule of law. These are not just legal terms. They are standards that define whether a judicial system is trusted or questioned. Fairness means that both sides are given equal opportunity. Transparency means that the process is open and clear. Rule of law means that decisions are based strictly on legal principles, not influence or pressure. When these three elements are present, confidence grows. When they are missing, doubt spreads quickly. Nigeria's judicial system has faced criticism in the past, especially in politically sensitive cases. Some observers have raised concerns about delays, inconsistencies, and external influence. Whether those concerns are fully accurate or not, they shape public opinion. And public opinion does not stay within borders. It spreads across Africa. It reaches international media. It influences how global institutions respond. This is why Ramaphosa also directed his message to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He is not just speaking about courts. He is speaking about leadership responsibility. In situations like this, leadership sets the tone. If the process is handled with openness and strict adherence to the law, it sends a strong message that Nigeria's institutions are working. It shows that the system is bigger than any individual. It builds confidence among citizens and observers. But if the process appears unclear or influenced, it creates a different outcome. It raises questions. It weakens trust. It gives critics more reason to doubt the system. Another key point in Ramaphosa's message is the idea of correction. He suggested that this moment can be used to correct what has been seen as wrong, especially in how Nigeria's judicial system is viewed across Africa and globally. This is not about rewriting the past. It is about shaping the present and the future. Every appeal process is an opportunity to reinforce legal standards, an opportunity to show independence, an opportunity to demonstrate that justice is not selective. The appeal of Nnamdi Kanu is now carrying that weight. It is no longer just a continuation of a legal case. It is a moment that could either strengthen Nigeria's image or deepen existing concerns. The attention from the African Union adds another layer of importance. Continental bodies do not usually focus on individual cases unless there is a wider implication. In this case, the implication is clear. It touches on governance, human rights, and institutional trust. As the process moves forward, every action taken within the legal system will be observed more closely than usual. Statements will be analyzed. Court decisions will be examined. Procedures will be questioned or praised depending on how they are handled. This level of attention brings pressure, but it also brings opportunity. Nigeria has the chance to show that its legal system can stand up to scrutiny, that it can operate within the framework of the law without compromise, that it can handle sensitive cases with balance and discipline. The outcome of the appeal will matter, but the process itself may matter even more. Because in the end, what people remember is not just what decision was made, but how that decision was reached. That is where the real test lies for Nigeria at this moment. The appeal process will not only be judged by legal experts, but also by ordinary citizens, African leaders, and global observers. Every step must reflect order, discipline, and strict respect for the law. If the process is handled with clarity and fairness, it can restore confidence and strengthen Nigeria's standing across the continent. It can show that institutions are working as they should. But if doubts remain, the impact will go beyond this case. It will shape opinions about Nigeria's justice system for a long time to come. The focus now shifts fully to leadership and what happens next. At the center of this moment is President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. The situation has moved beyond legal arguments and entered a phase where decisions, tone, and direction from the highest level of government will shape public perception. This is not just another political issue. It is a defining moment. The call from Cyril Ramaphosa has placed Nigeria under a broader continental spotlight. It has raised expectations and increased attention around the appeal process of Nnamdi Kanu. At this stage, silence can be interpreted in many ways. Action, however, sends a clear message. Leadership in moments like this is not about long speeches. It is about setting a standard that institutions must follow. It is about ensuring that the system works without interference and without doubt. President Tinubu is now in a position where his approach to this issue will influence how Nigeria is viewed, not just today, but in the future. There are three key areas that define this moment. The first is credibility. Nigeria's justice system must show that it can operate independently, especially in a case that has attracted national and international attention. The appeal process must reflect discipline, order, and strict adherence to legal procedures. Any sign of inconsistency or pressure could raise concerns. Credibility is not built through statements. It is built through actions that people can see and trust. The second is confidence. Citizens within Nigeria are watching closely. There are strong opinions on all sides. Some expect the appeal to correct what they believe went wrong. Others expect the original judgment to be upheld. In this environment, the responsibility of leadership is to ensure that the process remains stable and respected. If people believe the system is fair, even those who disagree with the outcome are more likely to accept it. But if trust is weak, even a lawful decision can create tension. The third is continental perception. Nigeria is not operating in isolation. As a major member of the African Union, its internal processes often carry wider meaning. Other African nations look at Nigeria as a reference point for governance and institutional strength. The involvement of Ramaphosa has already shown that this case has crossed national boundaries. It is now part of a larger conversation about rule of law in Africa. This increases the responsibility on Nigeria to manage the situation with care. The appeal itself will be a critical stage. It will test the strength of legal arguments. It will test the discipline of the court. It will test the ability of the system to remain balanced under pressure. The earlier sentencing of Nnamdi Kanu to life imprisonment created a serious and final tone. That decision cannot be ignored, and it cannot be undone without a proper legal process. The appeal is the only path through which that judgment can be reviewed. This makes the process even more important. Every legal step must be clear. Every ruling must be well-grounded. Every action must reflect the law. There is also a broader issue at play. Nigeria's global image. In today's world, information moves fast. Court decisions are reported across borders within minutes. International organizations, media platforms, and human rights groups follow high-profile cases closely. The way this appeal is handled will shape reports, discussions, and opinions about Nigeria. A strong and transparent process can improve confidence. A weak or unclear process can increase criticism. This is why Ramaphosa's message focused not only on fairness, but also on correction. He pointed to the idea that this moment can be used to address concerns about how Nigeria's judicial system is viewed. That is a rare opportunity. Moments of pressure can either expose weakness or reveal strength. For President Tinubu, this is a chance to show that Nigeria's institutions are capable of handling sensitive matters without losing balance. It is a chance to reinforce the idea that justice is guided by law, not influenced by external factors. It is also a moment to demonstrate calm control. There is no need for conflict. There is no need for defensive reactions. What is needed is a clear commitment to due process and respect for legal standards. If that is achieved, the outcome of the appeal, whatever it may be, will carry more acceptance. It will show that the system works. But if the process raises questions, those questions will not remain within the courtroom. They will spread across the country and beyond. This is why the coming phase is critical. The appeal of Nnamdi Kanu is not just a legal continuation. It is a test of structure, discipline, and leadership. It is a moment that will define how Nigeria is judged in terms of justice and institutional strength. The attention is already high. The expectations are already set. What happens next will determine whether this moment becomes a point of confidence or a point of concern. The responsibility now is clear and immediate. Nigeria must show, through action, that its legal system can stand firm under pressure and remain guided only by the law. There is no room for confusion or mixed signals at this stage. The appeal process must speak for itself. If handled with discipline and fairness, it will strengthen trust. If not, it will deepen doubts that may take years to repair.